All right, guys, I'm just going to give the rest of the attendees some time to enter the room. Just give me a few more seconds, please. Oh, it's fantastic to see some familiar names there. Great. Hi, Bertha. I was just about to say hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, look, so a very good evening from to all who've joined for this presentation on how to navigate the economic calendar and understand the related terms. So look, on behalf of me and the FP Markets team, thank you for trusting us with your time, and I sincerely hope you can walk away from here a more knowledgeable trader. So the chat box is empty, so I assume, look, we can all hear me loud and clear, and the welcome slide is visible. It'd be great if you could throw a Y for yes or in the chat box if that's the case. If not, obviously throw an N in the chat box for no. Look, before I roll things over, recordings are available for each presentation that FP Markets produces. So you are free to watch these videos at your leisure. These can be found on the FP Markets website. Just hover over the resources tab, and at the top of the welcome page, and under education, you will find the webinars, the archived webinars. Alternatively, guys, look, head over to YouTube, our YouTube channel, FP Markets, and you can view the previous webinars there. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Right, so look, I rarely miss out answering any questions in these presentations, but if I do, or you're not clear on my explanation, please do go ahead and shoot the team an email at either marketanalyst@fpmarkets.com or alternatively to support team@fpmarkets.com. Now, look, as usual, guys, a quick disclaimer, really. Trade responsibly. Derivative products are highly leveraged, carry a high level of risk, and are not suitable for all investors. Features of our products, including fees and charges, are outlined in the relevant legal documents available on our website. Now, for anyone that's new here, guys, look, this is really just a quick about me, so we all know who's behind the mic. So I'm a technical analyst for FP Markets. I've been involved in the financial markets for more than a decade now. In that time, I completed the CMT program, was awarded the CFTe qualification in 2020. And look, most importantly, what I focus on most is price action, Fibonacci, so Fibonacci concepts, the relative strength index, the RSI, and of course, chart psychology. So, look, this presentation is unlikely to be as lengthy as the previous presentations, given the topic is relatively, it's a relatively straightforward topic. So it will not take up, or will hopefully not take up too much of your time, but simultaneously provide you enough information to allow you to work with an economic calendar with confidence. So, an economic calendar is in place to inform traders and investors, and economists, and whoever else has an interest in the economic well-being of a country's economic landscape. So what it does is, in a straightforward manner, show scheduled news events in relation to the economy and the financial markets. Now, do note that you will hear some analysts refer to news events as sometimes economic data or even risk events. Either way, they all mean the same thing. It's data for a particular country for a specific economic indicator at a specific time and date. Nothing more than that. So economic indicators, as their name implies, is a statistic, often and a macroeconomic on a macroeconomic scale, which is designed to measure economic activity. So traders and investors use these indicators to analyze the well-being of a country's economy, right? So government organizations and private groups release several economic reports on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis, each measuring activity in a particular segment of the economy. So look, widely followed indicators are, of course, employment, inflation. I'm sure inflation doesn't need any introduction right now. The consumer price index, the CPI, growth indicators, GDP, or gross domestic product. We also have retail sales. We also have things like the stock market. So the stock market is considered a forward-looking mechanism where the stock market tends to lead the business cycle by 6 to 9 months. So we can use the stock market as well. Industrial production, housing figures are other economic indicators. I'm so sorry, Nori, I don't understand the language you're using. If you could type in English, that would be fantastic. I think you're typing Spanish. I'm sorry, I don't understand. So if you could type in English, that would be fantastic. Okay, so look, no single indicator can provide a clear picture of the economy's health. At best, each indicator provides a snapshot of current conditions. But when we piece together these economic indicators, you should get a clearer picture of how the economy is faring as a whole, right? So it is crucial to understand that some economic indicators are more important than others at certain points in time. Look, inflation, as of this presentation, is incredibly important, right? So it's all over the news. It's in the US, we're now at 8.6%. So it's incredibly important right now. Other important indicators to watch can be found on the statements from central banks in their forward guidance. So what the central bank are watching, and this is what you and I should be watching closely too. So as a trader, the economic calendar is one of your best friends, really. Although it will only take a few minutes, irrespective of your trading style, you should monitor the economic calendar, as events can really influence a trade's outcome. I've had so many trades go against me because I was too undisciplined to factor in the high probability, the high impact economic events that were due on the calendar. Look, I knew that they were due on the calendar, but I chose to not so much ignore them, but almost disregard them and think and believe my technical approach would surpass any movement derived from the economic event, if that makes sense. Obviously, I was wrong on a number of occasions, so it's a lesson I learned the hard way. So look, while the main focus is on the macroeconomic calendar here, I thought for the benefit of new traders here, I would mention that there's also an earnings calendar. This will be important for traders that look at the equities market, of course. So for earnings, an earnings calendar is the quarterly schedule that structures individual release dates of financial reports that contain performance data for publicly traded corporations. So many companies adhere to a traditional calendar. So there are 4 earnings seasons during the year, beginning in January, April, July, and October. So there are a number of websites offering free access to earnings calendars like Yahoo Finance, Market Insider, NASDAQ, and so on. And I'll also show you on investing.com. They offer that as well. The main point I really want to hit home right now is that an economic calendar lists scheduled risk events for specific countries. One other point, all economic calendars are standardized across the board. There's really no difference between them. What I mean by this is, although you may use the Forex Factory's free calendar, the economic calendar used on investing.com will show the same information. It will just be customized to that website. But if you have Bloomberg and things like that, you'll have more of a forecast range, if that makes sense. So you'll have the estimates. You'll have a range of estimates. So it won't just be one forecast. So say for the NFP it was 400K. That's the forecast. But on Bloomberg you'll have 550K, the highest end of the range, and the lowest end of the range will be, say, 250K. Now, if the actual release comes above that NFP, the highest forecast within the so if the actual release beats the actual the highest limit of that range, then you will see some serious moves in the market. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're interested in paying for a calendar. Just bear with me. I just have to get the FP Markets calendar up. Just bear with me 1 second while I switch these screens, because I really want to show you the FP Markets calendar, as I think it just does everything you really need as a trader. Let me just get this over to the screen. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. If you can, fantastic. Could you let me know in the chat box? If not, I'll reshare my screen. There we go. Okay, guys, I don't think you can see my screen. No worries. What I'll do is I'll stop sharing and I'll reshare. Just bear with me. Okay, so here we go. Excellent. You can. Fantastic. Okay, so look, on the screen, we have the FP Markets economic calendar. Right. So this is a very basic calendar, but it really does all you need. As I said, economic calendars really do offer the same sort of setup across the board. And I primarily use the investing.com's economic calendar, but I know a number of traders that use Forex Factory, which is fine. If that does the job for you. As I said, though, both will offer a similar setup, so you can apply your knowledge you learn here to Forex Factory, and it won't be an issue. The first impression of an economic calendar for new traders is likely to be overwhelming, but really, hopefully, once I have finished here this evening, this should really make sense. So, on the FP Markets calendar, while it is pretty simplistic in view, it really gives, if you're a technician and you don't really focus on, you only need to know when the high impacting events are due, this is fine. This is all you really need. So as you can see here, we have the date. You can filter the date from the current week. So this is this week, previous week, next week, current month, previous month, and next month. Okay, pretty simple stuff, guys. So let's leave it on current week. We also have the current time. So for me, I'm based in the UK, so currently it's GMT +1 right now. So you can factor this into where you're based in the world. And look, really, all we do here is we have the currency. As you can see, the currencies that will be affected. So the GBP, the euro, and so on, and the times, right? So the times that it's released in your time zone. Then we have the events itself. So let me find a good one. Manufacturing production for the month for the UK, a high impacting event. So we have red for high impacting events. I believe on the FP Markets calendar, it's orange for medium impact. And I believe the gray are for low impact events. Now, I'm pretty sure we know tomorrow we have a major event on the calendar. So it should be on here. I'm not sure. Sorry, Wednesday. There we go. So tomorrow we have the obviously the FOMC. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to find that for you. There we go. It should be around the 9 o'clock area. There we go. The Fed interest rate decision. Now, this is a huge event. And as you can see, look, we have We have the a high impacting note next to that. And we also have the FOMC economic projections and the FOMC statement. This is a huge event, guys. And I would really note this down, as it will very likely deliver some volatility. They're even talking about a 75 basis point hike right now, according to the CME Group's FedWatch tool. I think it's like 96% probability that the Fed funds futures traders are pricing that in as a 75 basis point hike for the futures. Look, Jay, I can see your question. Can you talk more on how market prices impacts if a bull and bear market on the FOMC? Look, this is really not the time. This is really not the place for that. But look, if there's enough demand for that kind of thing, we will develop something. But I have to get through this, the content that I have prepared for those that have joined for the economic calendar. I apologize, Jay, but if there's enough demand, we will certainly create something. So yes. So look. So and just to finish off my demonstration with the calendar, look, we have the actual, forecast, and previous. So the previous is the previous market data for that event. The forecast, as I've already explained, is simply the economists. They give you a forecast. So what you're likely seeing here is the median estimate. So it's the middle of the estimate. So you have the middle, then you have the upper range, then you have the lower range, right? So what you're likely seeing here, the median or the average, I would say. But as I said, on Bloomberg, you have the median, then you have the upper limit, then you have the lower limit, and also the average as well. So yes, but look, as I said, another thing that's really cool with the FP Markets calendar is, look, we have economic calendar categories. So for anyone that's new to this, look, you have everything explained here in simple terms. So consumption, economic activity, energy, politics, just they're very basic, but it's a good way to get you started, really. And it's something certainly to look out for in if you visit the FP Markets website. Look, an economic calendar is available on MT5, right, guys? So, but as far as I know, there is not one available for MT4. I don't use MT5, but I do believe there is one available on MT5. Okay, so look, I'm going to switch things over to the investing.com calendar. So let me just get the calendar up. Let me get rid of that. Now, this is what I largely look at, to be quite frank. I don't really focus on, yes, look, Diego, the previous is the month-on-month or year-on-year. Let me just get to that. I'll explain what they mean and where you can find them and things like that, that question. So look, as I said, this is the investing.com's calendar. It's the best one I've found, really, a free, to be quite fair. So look, first of all, I would encourage you to register. Look, I have no affiliation to this, to investing.com at all, but signing up just makes it a lot easier. So as you can see, I've signed up here. I've also paid to remove the ads. It's very cheap. I think it's like $7 US per year or something to remove the ads. If you don't, you'll be inundated with advertisements around the economic calendar, which can make it a little bit annoying if you're just looking for the events. So what you'll notice with I wasn't really going to talk about this, but as you can see here, we have a number of tabs here, right? So you've got the currencies heat map, you've got Forex volatility. Look, the Forex volatility is basically, I think it's the ATR, nothing more. It just tells you the daily volatility, the hourly volatility, and things like that. We also have an earnings calendar here, a holiday calendar, and of course the economic calendar, which we're on now. So the holiday calendar is pretty cool. You know, it lists all of the countries that are on holiday in upcoming holidays for the country. So as you can see, on June the 20th, I think it's a Monday, we have the United States on holiday. So the New York Stock Exchange and most of the US-based traders will be on vacation. So yes, this is something I do look at as well. We also have the earnings calendar here. This is for, as I said, for the stocks. And then we have the economic calendar here. Now, the economic calendar, as you can see, pretty much like the FP Markets calendar here. As you can see, you can filter the days, as I showed there. You can also do this on the investing.com's calendar. So yesterday, today, tomorrow, this week, next week, or you can customize your customize the dates, as you can see here. So you can enter how far you want to go back, or how fast, how far into the future you want to look at the events. Pretty self-explanatory. Current time, guys. Again, look, I'm based in the UK, so this is GMT +1 for me. But look, you can, wherever you're based in the world, you can really set this up to suit. Just bear with me. Okay, so look, then we have filters. So as you can see here, for me, I look at Canada, I look at Eurozone, France, New Zealand, Switzerland, US, the United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, China, and Australia as my main countries for the events. So look, you have a broad range of countries you can choose. You can choose to select. So yes, feel free to go through that in your own time. Look, time, display the time remaining till the announcement. So what you'll see here, this section here, as you can see, I have checked this, display time until remaining announcement. So what you'll see, if I go back to, if I just remove the filters, what you'll see is if, let me see if there's an event coming up. There's not, I don't think. No, so what you'll see is, so if you can imagine, it's now 9:20 p.m. in the UK, you'll start seeing a countdown timer form at this point here, 10 minutes remaining, 9 minutes remaining, and so on. So that's what that means on that filter there down here. If you don't want that, just check display time only, and it will just show you the time that it's due. Obviously, categories. Look, you have employment, credit, balance, economic activity, and so on. These are the economic indicators you want to see on your calendar. As you can see, I've selected them all. I don't really, I've selected them all. But one thing I will note is the importance. So for this calendar on investing.com, you have stars. They used to be balls, but they're not anymore. They're stars. So look, importance. This is a potentially low impacting event, medium impacting event, a high impacting event. As you can see, I've selected the high impacting event and the medium impacting event. Quite simple. You can select that if you want, if you believe that will affect your trading. Please go ahead and select that. So look, once you've done that, quite simply apply those, and it will sort that out for you, and that's it. You also have a legend at the bottom here. As you can see, look, it explains it nice and easily here. Low volatility expected, moderate volatility, and high volatility with those stars. So as you can see, for the US today, we had the PPI, and that's the Producer Price Index for the month of May, and that had a 3-star rating, high volatility expected. And that come in as forecast. So I don't believe that produced much of a reaction. I wasn't actually at the charts at that time, so I can't be sure. But given that it come in at forecast, yes, I don't believe it. Look, we also have another one here, the German ZEW economic sentiment, come in lower than expected. It was worse than expected. Sorry, worse than expected. Yeah, so this would have likely affected the euro a little bit, I would have imagined. But look, yes, so that's really it. That's really all I have to say on the calendar. There's not really much else. I mean, it's got a pretty cool, I guess you could say widget or gadget. I'm not sure what you'd actually call this box here. But look, if you just really want a quick view of the markets, these are European indices, US indices, and things like that. If you really want to, and it tells you when it's open and closed. So right now the Dow, the S&P 500 is open. And yeah, so if you really want to check out the commodities, FX, shares, and you can also select crypto, ETFs, and bonds if you so wish. Most popular articles. So these are by the analysts, various analysts across the world. So if you're interested in things like that, and you also have news, so you can find the news. As you can see, most of it is by Reuters, which is a very, very reputable news website. And yes, so, and you also have from the investing.com. Central bank interest rates, as you can see, we are hiking right now, guys. So tomorrow we have the Fed, right? It's at 1%. This could be tomorrow, 1.75%, right? The target range could be around that area. So right now, I'm not sure of the probability, but I know it's very, very high, according to the markets, where we're going, where the Fed is heading. Right. So there was a question about the year on year and month over month. So year on year, month over month. Let me find a. Okay. So we have the. Let's find a popular one. US PPI. Okay, let's go on to the US PPI. Month over month, MOM. Okay, MOM. Now, look, let me just start with the year on year first. Year on year remains a popular way to assess performance, right? So common year on year comparisons include the include annual, quarterly, and monthly performance. So annual, as you would expect. So an annual rate is simply data compared with data a year prior. That's it, nothing more. You will also see Chinese data. They have labels like Q/Y. This data simply represents the quarterly value compared to the same quarter a year earlier. Nothing more. It's not technical really. And finally, you will also see monthly data, right? So monthly data. So it's monthly data, annual monthly data. So what this is monthly figures a year earlier. So it's monthly. It's a monthly value compared with monthly figures a year earlier. And this is. So the main ones you will see though on the calendar are of course Q/Q, quarterly and quarterly data, and M/M, or as you can see here, MOM. So look, Q/Q, or the quarterly data. Here we go. Look, see the New Zealand dollar. Here we go. QOQ, the quarterly data for the current account for New Zealand. What this is data compared with the previous quarter. And the month over month, where's the month over month again? So we have the month over month for May. All that is, guys, is the same. It's the same, but it represents the monthly values compared with the previous month. Nothing more. Year to date, of course, refers to from the beginning of the year to the present day, to today. You may also see some indicators labeled as YTD/Y. Mainly, I see these with with China's economic indicators. And look, what this tells us is that tells us the year-to-date investments compared with the same period a year earlier. Okay. You may also see some events on the calendar, like let me see if I can write this on 3 months. You may also see things like just. I think this is how you would see it. You would see like the 3M divided by Y, not divided by, /Y. And what this represents is the 3-month moving average. 3-month moving average compared to the same period a year earlier. This can be seen in a number of different countries, including UK data as well. Let me just run over that again, just in case you missed that. So year on year, we have this sort of year on year, which is simply, let me just, year on year simply means 1 year's data compared with another year's data. That's all it is, the previous year's data, nothing more. You'll also see some funky Q/Y. You'll see these with China data, and as this represents the quarterly value, as you can see here, denoted by the Q, quarterly value compared to the same quarter a year earlier. Nothing more. 3-month moving average for the 3M/Y compared to the same period a year earlier. The year to date, you'll often see this YTD refers to the period extending from the beginning of the year to the present. And you may also see things like YTD/Y. Again, I see this with the Chinese data, Chinese economic indicators, and what this tells us is the year-to-date investment compared with the same period, so year-to-date compared with the same period a year earlier. Okay, I think I've covered everything there. Let me just see if there's. Okay, I have a question here about does the PPI lead to a CPI, e.g. since the month PPI high, so next month? Yeah, I'm not really going to go into that, to be quite honest, Jay. It's another question that's really not related to the look, I get it. I know it's an economic indicator, but we will have I think we do have an introduction to fundamental economic indicators. No, we don't do webinars daily. Any groups we can join with you. I will let support answer that. I believe the support team are listening in regards to these. So maybe they will reply to you. Currently we do not do webinars daily, Jay, to answer your question. We are planning to expand shortly. So if support has something to add there, I'm sure they'll type it across. But look, guys, any other questions regarding the economic calendar in terms of these things? They're pretty self-explanatory, though, guys. Look, year to date, as you can see, year to date value compared to the year to date value a year earlier. 3-month moving average, the 3-month moving average compared to the same period a year earlier. Quarterly value compared to the same quarter a year earlier. It's pretty self-explanatory there, really. Right, so there's something else I really wanted to touch on is, look, there are 3 versions of the GDP, right? So I see a lot of new traders, gross domestic product, they get confused with this. So the GDP is released a month apart. So we have advance, preliminary, and final. Okay, so I'm just going to write this in: advance, prelim, whoops. Okay, prelim and final. Okay, so this is something you should be aware of, really, if you're interested in economic indicators and things. The advance release, so the first release, is the earliest and thus tends to have the most impact on the markets. This is just something I thought that would be interesting to some new traders. Now, look, guys, the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, I really thought I'd just briefly talk about this. It really looks poised to fast track the tightening cycle with another half-point rate hike on the table for tomorrow. And look, this marks, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's the first time since 1994 that officials have lifted rates by more than the standard quarter point hike at multiple meetings in 1 year. Look, the Fed's also going to update its summary of economic projections, which will show where policymakers see inflation, employment growth, and borrowing costs heading over the next 2 years. So this is certainly something I would encourage all of you to really watch tomorrow. Look, if all goes as expected, this means the Fed's key interest rate benchmark will have risen by to 1.5 percentage points in just a 3-month span. It's incredible, right? Yes, so this is something certainly I would encourage all traders to be watching. Even I would never encourage trading during the actual event unless you're very comfortable with the potential volatility. But it's certainly something you should be watching if you want to learn. So, whoops, I should have talked about this, but that's really, I've gone over that. Right, so we are now on a Q&A, guys, and as I said, it would be a shorter. Okay, so yeah, I knew it would be a shorter. Which type of traders? Okay, Diego, good question. Which type of traders? So Diego, did that answer your question with the month-on-month and year-on-year question? I hope it did. So look, which type of traders, swing, scalp position, should use the economic calendar? Look, to be honest, quite, you know, I would say it's more directed to the short term, right? So if you have, say, tomorrow you have the FOMC out, right? You do not want to have a position. You do not want to be opening a position just before that event, right? So because that could end up really badly for you if you do not understand the volatility that's potentially going to hit the markets. So for me personally, I would say you haven't included day trading, but I'm going to throw that in the bucket of scalpers. So we have scalpers and day traders. Most definitely, you should always be looking, always note where the economic events are. And look, also swing trading as well. Swing trading, look, swing trading for sure. Yeah, I would always be aware of where the economic events are. I don't see the harm in it, to be honest. It's 2 minutes of your day. Note where the economic events are. My mentor always had a piece of paper and you just note down the events for the day, done. That's all you have to look at if you're a technical based trader. So I hope that answers your question, Diego. Right, so a question from Jay. Which data is used mostly, month on month, year on year, or the quarterly over quarterly? They're all used. They're all pretty much used. They're all pretty much used. There's not, month on month is very popular, right? So, but you know, you should be aware of all of these events. Which data is used mostly? I'm not sure. Do you mean it's mostly seen on the calendar? So if that's the question, they're all seen on the calendar, and they're all quite popular data measures. I hope that answers your question, Jay. Okay, look, so look, just quickly, guys, look, if you have any questions or comments or feedback for today's presentation, as you can see, we have, please send this across to either support@fpmarkets.com or alternatively, look, guys, marketanalyst@fpmarkets.com. Either one is fine. They'll all come back to the research team, so mostly to the research team because it's regarding the content. Look, the next webinar for this month we have is, look, trading psychology. Understand what it means to have a trader's mindset, and that's on the 24th of this. Look, guys, excuse me, guys. I think I have to check this, double check this. Bear with me. Bear with me. I just need to double check that I'm. Sometimes I get my months. There we go. I'm sorry, guys. So look, our upcoming, as you can see in the chat box, upcoming webinars, position sizing, guys, do make sure you're present for that. There's a lot of work gone into this to make sure you understand how to calculate your position size. That's on the 21st of June at the same time. So please do try and get across to that. Then we have the importance of a trading plan, and that's on the 28th of June. As you can see, again, at the same time. These are all important, very, very important subjects. And yes, so please do try and register for those. And yeah, so look, I'm very happy to hear that, Jay. That's fantastic. So look, also make sure to register for our Telegram channel. I believe there's a link already in the chat box. If not, please do subscribe to our Telegram channel through the link that's just been posted. If there's no other questions, guys, I will let you be, and I hope you in any IG link. I don't use Telegram. That would be a question for support. I think support may have something for you. If not, maybe contact our support team after the webinar finishes. I'm sorry, Jay, I'm not sure about the IG link. If there's no other questions other than that, there we go, Jay. Thank you. So yes, Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to be with me. I hope it's been beneficial. I hope you've learned something. And look, please do come along to the upcoming webinars. That's fantastic, Jay. I'll see you there. Yeah, thank you very much for joining, and I hope you have a pleasant evening, and do trade well tomorrow with the FOMC, guys. Trade well, trade safe, yeah? Okay, so I'll catch you later. Thank you. Thank you, Bertha. Thank you very much.